Gospel according to St. Matthew, chapter 11, verses 28 to 30. Jesus exclaimed, "Come to me, all you who labor and are overburdened, and I will give you rest. Shoulder my yoke and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. Yes, my yoke is easy and my burden light." The Gospel of the Lord. Dear friends in Christ Jesus, the first reading is taken from the book of Prophet Isaiah, chapter 26. Chapter 25 will talk about the heavenly banquet and how people are going to be fed with oil and wine, the food that was offered for God Himself, and God is going to give it to the people, a sign of feeding people with the best of the food. And the whole passage today is written in a prayer format and expressing a person's inability, the difficulty, people in distress. But if you go through this passage, it's a beautiful passage to know how much Yahweh loves people. There are a lot of nice comparison. We are struggling like a woman who would be struggling to give birth. We are going through a lot of pain. But the beautiful lines come here. All you who lie in the dust, for your dew is a radiant dew. This is if you see the whole prayer changes from people pleading to God and how God responds. So the last few verses would be like this: your dead will come to life, their corpse will rise, awake, exult, all you who lie in the dust. For your dew is a radiant dew. This is a beautiful verse to analyze. It is creating the humankind once again. God created in the book of Genesis from the dust, from the clay. This time He is going to mix the clay, the dust with the dew, because in the prophet Hosea we have seen how God Himself says, "I am like the dew on the grass." So this time He is going to give a new life, and the land of ghosts will give birth. And if you go through also those days, people were also not believing in resurrection, not believing in life after. But if you see, the ones who believe in Yahweh will not die, they will live again. And the land of ghosts will give birth would mean the Leviathan or the early serpent will all disappear, the good will reign. So it's completely a passage of hope. The whole thing is again a beautiful, also we should appreciate our own liturgy for choosing the best of the passages and giving it for reflection for every day. And I would strongly recommend all of us to read the book of Prophet Isaiah. It's a kind of a backbone for the whole of the Old Testament, also for the scriptures in general. It gives us a lot of reflection for our Christian living. And coming to the gospel passage, few verse, just 28, 29 and 30. "Come to me, all you who labor and are overburdened." Dear friends, this is again, Rome was living in a kind of a social unrest at that point of time. A lot of sin comes inside, and from being very stern in terms of morality, people started becoming relaxed, and then even like systems like marriage, which was exalted as a very important system with a lot of rigidity and stern morality. Marriages started becoming a point of convenience. People easily married and moved away from the person and got married with the others. And this was a kind of losing morality, and there was a lot of social unrest. This was happening in Rome. Meantime, we also know Galilee is a land which is a very fertile land, because in terms of land, this whole lake, you see how fertile the land was. At the same time, they also had a good catch of fish, and the land also was known for mines. So you have wealth, you have occupation, you have agriculture. So it was a land of productivity, but all this produce were going to the luxuries of Rome. And imagine how much people were burdened. It is like, again, people suffering under Pharaoh. And this is the time Jesus says, I will offer you rest. Come to me. Rest is not what we can actually earn. It is a gift. It is even said it's a dowry of grace. Not to mistake with this word dowry, but to say it is given freely. You don't really, in that case we can say no one deserves to get anything in terms of even a dowry in terms of marriage. But here we see it's dowry of grace. It's simply gratuitous gift God has given. And rest is a gift God gives because we are overburdened. And all this slavery, social unrest, all these disturbances, everything is caused by sin. Even in the first reading, people are so much fed up, people are burdened. Why? Because of sin. Here also we see people are weary, they are heavily laden with a lot of work, and the thing that stresses us most is a sin. And Jesus says, I will offer you rest, and my yoke is easy. St. Justin the Martyr would even say, since Jesus was the carpenter, he knew how to make yoke, and he would even make yoke according to each of the animal. Carpenter will not just make yoke in a universal size. So if he could make yoke according to each of the animal, how much more he will take interest in making the yoke that is meant for us, which would be very light, which will not be heavy. So much of care. So as we see in the first reading, the heavenly banquet, God is treating us, He is giving us hope. Here also we see God giving us the rest. The lesson we need to take home is this: sin creates stress in us. Sin creates so much of burden within us, while God's grace gives us the rest. And I think it's good for us to experience, to enjoy this grace, this gift that God is offering us. And one simple way of experiencing this grace, this gift God gives us, is take some time for our own reflection, take some time in prayer. In the busy schedule of our life, of course, during this lockdown, we would have experienced how much, with all the difficulty, we also had sufficient time to deepen our spirituality. We have also had sufficient rest. Rest is, we should not misunderstand with laziness, but rest is a gift God gives us. It is not what we earn. And let us enjoy this grace as we get rid of sin. Let us embrace the rest that God gives all of us.